Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your Sagittarius season reading, 2024 reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. My website link is below and payment options, as well as the second part to this reading, which will be the first link in Patreon. If you sign up to Patreon, even just as a free member, this will get sent to your inbox as well. So if you're looking for that direct link, please, you can find that there, sign up, or subscribe for the extended readings and you'll get both. And then whatever else comes to, as well. So, Aquarius, the card's already speaking to you, and it looks like you need to speak up as well. Wherever you're not speaking up may come out projected around you. Your value, how you want to be heard, or your need to be seen and heard. You may feel like you need to reach to be seen, or you may go the opposite where you hide. This looks more like this is about your ego. This is about how you've gotten in your head. This is about power. You may need to speak up about and stand your ground with the power that you hold. You may need an ego boost at this time, and there's nothing wrong with that. You may also feel like a freedom to share your voice, a freedom of expression, a freedom of your desires and your ego in a way that you've been released from this control. For those of you who feel still tied up in that control of the Capricorn and Pluto, and you're still feeling lingering effects from it, we're all there. I said in the Capricorn reading that we've all entered a new world energetically, but we're still fighting the old world in some way. We're still having to address some things head on, address these attachments head on, especially Aquarius if it has to do with a father figure. It has to do with that day-to-day. Saturn also rules you. So if it has to do with whatever patterns have ruled over you as well, the stability that you feel from the ground to the sky. Are you grounded? Is the ego grounded? This energetic shift that we all are experiencing is and can have, we're having this time of slowing down too with Mars, and it can have this notion that things are moving slow or even like they're not moving at all. But anytime that you have the chance to slow things down, maybe appreciate it. Appreciate how things can, in this moment for a few days, feel like you have an expended amount of energy and time to take a look at and focus on what's being presented to you, what is still lingering, and what needs to be spoken to. What attachments need to be cut? And also why it's so hard, or why it's been so difficult. I would first say, slow down. Maybe it has been difficult, but you are in for, I'm like, which one's first? You're in for a ride of your life. Whatever you're experiencing now, just know around the corner is the Ace of Swords, and around that is the Ace of Cups, and around that is the Ace of Wands, and around that is the Fool. Moving beyond anything that's held you back, anything that's caused a dampening in spirit. It's very easy for the past 16 to 20 years that can very much have dampened your fire, but you're here. You're here. And this is also sharing to you that creation is here. Creation is beyond the death of the experience, but creation will also help it. Taking that kind of risk will help the process and how long something takes, because things to be moving externally, but internally not. So the shifts are internal right now. It can feel like when you're speaking up for yourself, it's coming from an external place, but no, it's coming from somewhere in a deep desire, that's something that you've needed to say, something that's been controlling you, and you're even over it at this point, and you just want to take the sword to it. There's an opening of abundance. Anything that you're experiencing now is just preparing you for this ace moment. There's 3 aces out here on the table. You're overcoming, you may have to overcome many things in the next 20 years, but through that overcoming, you find healing. Through that overcoming, you find abundance. You're able to also have the power to cut anything out of your life, any pattern, with compassion, so that you can open up all of this energy that's been waiting to be used moving forward. It's being awakened after a deep slumber, right? This may be winter, but for you, there is winter, and then there is an uplifting, transformative changing of a moment. Releasing yourself from the shackles of control under the reign of Capricorn. And now you may be seeing, one of my kitties is in heat, so just bear with me. Where you can find so much enjoyment just moving through your mind, moving through yourself, moving through your own creation, moving through everything that you've been dreaming of, and then acting on it in a way that maybe hasn't been attainable for you in so long. Just being with yourself and being with all that you feel, see, create, experience to the heightened of it is now within your control. Now it's somewhere maybe you want to be. You may need to also come to terms with this person. If this is another person, especially because Aries is out here strong, if there's an Aries in your life that you really need to speak to, or you want to, or you don't know how it's going to go and you don't know how they're going to react, that's all coming from your attachments. If you want to speak to someone and it's for you, have the conversation. But if this is for every other reason and it's an ego thing, then have the internal conversation. Give yourself the attention that you might have wanted from that other person if they can't give it to you, or if it doesn't go anywhere, or if it only hurts you in the end. Or cut loose with the parts of you that are so tied up to what it looks like. It could be that person projecting onto you. What it looks like, what's controlling, what parts of your ego have controlled your experience until this point. And now that you're breaking free from them all, you may notice how many mental constraints you've been in order to uphold a certain appearance, in order to uphold a certain way of life. And now you're experiencing something different. There's a freedom within your heart and your mind that can cause a release of emotion. There can be anger, but there can also be love and enjoyment and tears of joy that come from this month. You're in a deep-seated feeling now. And then we also have like horns here. Be careful of your words. I know I say like cutting people off, but just be careful. Be careful how you approach these situations. Because it could feel easy. And I would say that it may be important to visualize, but not have expectation on the outcome when you actually go and say what you need to say or do what you need to do. But there's a lot of energy here, a lot of energy, and it's needing to be used, and it needs you to be prepared for what's flowing in so that you can finally leave behind an old way of thinking that shaped your life entirely. We have enough cards. You may have been hidden to what it is that you've really needed to see and address within yourself and the choices that you've needed to make. The thing is that you've worked really hard to get here, and you're being presented with the opportunity to move forward in a way that is incredibly powerful. But if you're not fully in belief, mentally, physically, emotionally on board, if you're not moving there, whole body, wholehearted, very Aries, that's why Aries showed up, wholehearted, fully going, cardinal fire, we're going. The spirit's going to bring us there. We're going to be carried there. Our attachments have no, no chance against you, the power that you feel now. When you speak, you can feel like the page, but the Emperor is the deep-seated root where you have what you need, where you feel more like yourself than you've ever felt, and you're going to feel that. Venus moves into Aquarius, not the easiest placement, but that's when this change is going to happen. Sure, there will be other things going on, but your spirit's turning from taking on feeling like there's like a heavy burden on it, perhaps for some of you, and now it's being released. You're getting insights, traversing insights that you climbed mountains for. Ace of Cups, now you can dive deep without being overly emotional, but now it's going to be innovative. So innovative that it makes you take a risk that changes your entire life. That brings you to choices that you want to make. Choices that were hidden to you before. Choices that you didn't even have because you were hidden to before. It's not your fault. This is a change. This is a movie. You need to change. You need to decide. This is external and internal. It's all the things. You need to decide internally. And then we have Two of Wands on the bottom. All of a sudden, something resurfaces. A plan that you had before. This plan is going to look different, but there's a reason why it's coming up. There's something about it that you need to re-examine. And there's some useful parts of this plan. And now that you are both beyond, you're there, but you're integrating. So it's like we're in a few places at once. Like you're moving forward, but you're integrating, and you keep letting go, and you'll know the moment that it's time to jump. Jump the timeline, to let go. You'll feel a huge mental relief by this end of this month, Aquarius. I can't say it any other ways anymore. I'm going to end here. But just really pay attention and give your mind the extra care that it needs. So if you need to go to bed earlier, if you need to be more quiet, if you need to take a lot of time alone and to develop internally, please do that for yourself. Give yourself the space, and notice if you can't give yourself the space from stimulation, noise, codependency, that's something to really take a look at and unravel and delayer, because this month is going to feel like an overhaul if the signs that have been coming up continue to be ignored. So if you are someone who's ignoring it, you'll be facing something extremely head on, and it may feel a lot bigger, a lot strong, a lot more powerful for those of you who aren't necessarily ready for this, but I'm sure you all are. I'm sure. So Remember that what you have to offer is extremely powerful, potent, and important. And it's in doing the speaking up, regardless of how you feel internally, externally, you show up a different way. And it just reveals to you what you're still overly attached to, what you're connected to in terms of how you work in the world, or could be a fatherly figure. But you find clarity. There's a revelation. You find there's just a deep sense of freedom and change. And it's like all this hype for Pluto. It takes a while. But the integration period is a little shorter, and there is still experiences that happen, even if a huge planet shifted and nothing crazy happened to everybody. There is a shift that has been happening, and if you don't feel it just yet, because I know you will, just give it a moment and let yourself have that time. Be patient with yourself. This is 20 years. It's happening regardless. But this is about you being in more control of your desires, of your choices, and of your outcomes. Like, do you ever really know the outcome? But what do you want to feel like? Free to express, experience, innovate, abundance, money. Yeah, so money, love, creation, expression. And it's an integration of yourself and what you didn't know. And now that you know, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it, Aquarius? Not a challenge unless you want it to be a challenge, okay? I'm very excited for you. Lots of fire coming through in these readings, as it would be Sagittarius season. I would also just be very careful whom you're talking to, because they may not know the place that you're in, and they may not be aware of how serious you are, but it's not something you haven't been trying to say. So if anyone gets caught off guard by your emotions or your experiences this month, then they weren't worth it, and they never will be. Okay. All right. We'll see you next month, and then your birthday. All information is below. All right, Aquarius. We'll see you then.